Hello friends, it's William, lead interpreter for St. Charles County Parks here out at the Historic Daniel Boone Home. I'm spending this fine afternoon working on this piece of pine and also making shavings. Now we can use these later on for burning as well, so we don't waste anything. But you know, I was thinking about what a wood economy this must have been when the pioneers arrived here in 1799. What I mean by that is that this place was absolutely flush with hardwoods. There were trees everywhere. Trees such as oak. This is good old oak right here. If you look at that, this is a hardwood. And that means that the grain is nice and tight. See, oak grows slow, and because it grows slow, it's just nice and tight and compact, and so what you end up with is all this strength. If you burn oak, boy, when you burn oak, it burns hot and it burns long. So you had oak, and this would have been a wonderful building material for your log homes. In fact, many of the ones that we still find in this valley are oak logs that make up the bones of the houses. Likewise, you have black walnut. Now, black walnut is just about as hard as oak. Again, it grows slow, it grows tight. Now, you might find your mantelpieces, your clothes presses, your trim, maybe your floor, anything that would be a little more fancy, you might use black walnut. It's a lovely wood as well. So the pioneers came out here. They had all of this wood. They had a wealth of natural resources with which to build their homes. And so they would set about it in earnest with axes, variety of axes. In fact, you had a felling axe, which did exactly what it sounds like it's going to do. It fells the tree. You also had a broad axe or a hewing axe, which that would help to square the logs after you had cut them. You might have used a tool called an adze, which was also meant for scraping away. You might have even used a long blade with a handle called a froe, which you would use to split and make shingles. Now, I'm telling you all of that because it sounds like they had a lot of axes. They had a lot of tools that had blades on them. And they used these tools because with those tools, they could really expose the wood's greatest vulnerability. You see, woodworking is all about failure. And on our good days, it's the wood that fails and not the craftsman. So if you were to take this as a tree, it's growing up. All the grains grow vertically like this. And that's really good because now if you have high winds or if you have a storm, it can sway back and forth, and it's nice and strong. So likewise, if we were to take a tool and try and split down the vertical, it would come apart. Just like that. That is where the wood wants to fail. It wants to come apart. Oh, in fact, here, I'll even show you. I'm going to take this piece of pine that I was working on. There we go. And it's nice and clean, in fact. So you have nice vertical lines right here. So if I take this piece of pine, go ahead and put that there, keep my hand out of the way. And if I were to take this hatchet, I bet with just a little bit of a whack, it's going to split all the way down. Because again, that's the way the wood wants to fail. So let's see what happens on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. There you go. One little whack, split it all the way down. Because that's the way the wood wants to fail. Now, I bet if I were to put this piece of wood on its side, like this, on its edge, this is where all the strength is. I imagine when I go and try and cut this, I don't know that I'm going to have much luck. But let's see what happens. On the count of 3, see if I can get all the way through this little bit. Now remember, I made it through 14 inches with not much effort. Let's see what going across will give me here. 1, 2, 3. Huh. Let me try it one more time. 1, 2, 3. Well, as you can see, this is where the strength is. There's no flexibility this way. And so, the pioneers understood that they might have to use axes to cut the tree down. And you're thinking, wow, that must have taken some time. And it would have taken a while because remember, they're cutting against the grain the entire time. But once the tree was on its side, using a combination of axes, they could get down to where they could then expose the weakness in the wood and make it come apart. And in that process, they were able to work really remarkably quickly. It's pretty amazing once you think about it. Thank you so much for watching.